What's going on, guys? My name is Agent Psycho, and we're going to be concluding the chapter number 31 of the Exploring the Arsenal series with me, Agent Psycho, aka Toast number 98, with the Survival Machete review. And there are a couple quirks about the Survival Machete that do make it stand out from the crowd. And at first, when I first used it, when they first introduced the Combat Arms, when I used it then, I really didn't like it. And I really never gave it another chance until now. And now that I used it like a week ago, I used it for a little bit, and it's actually pretty fun. It's actually a pretty good melee weapon, and I'm definitely gonna try using it a lot more in the future. But anyways, guys, let's get started on the Survival Machete review. So, a little bit of background information first. The Survival Machete is, I think, a Russian design. I don't know. It just screams Russian to me. But anyways, the Survival Machete is unlocked at Clan level 4, and it costs 700 GP a day. And I believe that's amongst the highest costing melee weapons in the game. I think only the Bowie knife matches that at 700 GP as well. I don't know. But anyways, the Survival Machete is pretty pricey for what it is, so you should kind of keep an eye on your GP if you really like the Survival Machete, which I really don't understand why we would, but whatever. Anyways, guys, let's get down to the nitty-gritty stats of the Survival Machete, and there's only 2 of them, so let's get started. The Survival Machete deals a very, very strong 56 damage, so technically speaking, you can down someone in 2 swipes. And the good thing about this is that means that the Survival Machete, this is the thing about the Survival Machete. I've mentioned in previous previous melee weapon reviews, like the ones on the sickle and ones on the GI shovel, that the Survival Machete is classified, or I like to classify the Survival Machete as like a heavy melee weapon. The light melee weapons, if you guys don't really know what I'm talking about, I like to classify the light melee weapons as, like, say, your M9 knife, or melee weapons in general that have a very fast primary attack. Primary attack is the left click button. So if it's got a very fast primary weapon or primary attack, when you left click, it's like a nearly instantaneous attack, then that's most likely a light melee weapon. If it's a heavy melee weapon like the Survival Machete, typically the primary attack will be very, very slow, but they will also be pretty strong at the same time. And also, most heavy weapons have a like a 2-swipe, like a 2-part attack animation when you right click, or a secondary attack. So there you have it. So Survival Machete is one of the heavy melee weapons in Combat Arms. So its portability also reflects it as well. It only has 65 portability, so it's definitely not the right melee weapon to go around sprinting with. So be careful of that. So I don't know. Those are the only statistics that Nexon really gives us, the damage and portability. Because I mean, it doesn't really make any sense for Nexon to give us any other stats. Like, how would you make sense of, like, rate of fire or accuracy or recoil? I mean, it doesn't have any. In terms of rate of fire, though, we could kind of discuss the rate of fire, in quotes, of the Survival Machete. So let's compare it to other heavy melee weapons. Compared to other heavy melee weapons like the GI shovel and then like the E.T.A or stuff like that, the Survival Machete has very fast attacks. Its primary attack is pretty quick for a heavy melee weapon, but its secondary attack is what makes it different from the rest, and that's where its true potential lies. The secondary attack, the right-click button on the Survival Machete, is the fastest attacking speed, or it has the fastest attacking speed of any heavy melee weapon in Combat Arms. It's a very, very quick execution and pullback. Because, say, for example, weapons like the, I want to say, especially the Ninjato. The Ninjato and the Gold Ninjato have very fast, like they attack in rapid succession. But when you first right click, and the time that it takes between for your character to actually land first attack, and then for the time that it takes for your character to actually get the blade ready to kind of attack with again, is very long. But the Survival Machete doesn't have any of that. In fact, it's very fast and it's very rapid. So the Survival Machete really has the advantage in its attacking speed. That's where its true advantage lies, and it's very, very useful, especially with its secondary attack. I mean, there is no reason why you should not use the secondary attack on the Survival Machete, because it attacks very, very rapidly. So there you have it. So moving on to the sprint drawback, it's very, very quick, just like most other melee weapons. So I mean, nothing too special there. Draw speed. The draw speed for the survival machete is one of the few melee weapons. I think only the balisong knife, which is pretty much like a butterfly knife, is the only other melee weapon to have to actually make a sound when you first draw it, or when you first pull it out of your bag. So the survival machete makes like a little clicking noise, like a little noise, as if you're cocking back a gun or something. Because I think your character, what your character does is like he or she folds up the actual survival machine, like the handle is like foldable or something like that, and then the draw animation pretty much shows your character like unfolding or something like that. So it's kind of cool, and it does make a noise when you actually draw it for the first time, or whenever you draw it. Moving on to the well, none of these make sense anyway. Let's see. The range on the survival machete is actually pretty short, because even though it is a heavy melee weapon, and typically speaking, most heavy melee weapons do have a what is it? They do have very, very long ranges for what they are, because I mean, they're usually they have very slow attack speeds, so thus their range kind of makes up for that. Because the survival machete has a very fast attacking speed, the range is sacrificed for that. So it doesn't have much range, but it definitely has more range than, say, like the M9 knife. So there you have it. Moving on to the key physical characteristics. The one thing that you will notice about the survival machete is that it takes a lot of space up in your HUD. Not compared so much to like actual weapons like guns or per se, but the size of the survival machete on your HUD is very big, and I've had complaints about people saying that it's too obtrusive in the center of your screen. I personally don't have a problem with it, but I've heard, especially from one of my clanmates, that the fact that the survival machete is so centered towards the middle of the screen that he's not really able to use it pretty well. So unfortunately, that's what you're gonna have to deal with. So, well, I mean, obviously it doesn't really make sense to have attachments on this thing. It's a freaking blade, for God's sake. Frank personal opinions on the survival machete. Survival machete is indeed a pretty fun melee weapon. It's definitely by all means not very practical, I don't think, anyway. So yeah, I don't know what to say about the survival machete. It's really fun to use, don't get me wrong, and the secondary attack on the survival machete is one of the best, or is the best secondary attack amongst all heavy melee weapons in combat arms. But in terms of just practicality, I don't know if you'll be able to use it to its full practicality anyway. So there you have it. So that effectively concludes the review on the survival machete. Anything that I have missed because I forgot to talk about them, I will always list in the description below. Please, guys, for the love of God, always read the description. I always put crucial information there if I don't remember to actually involve it, talk about it in the audio commentary itself. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. This survival machete review will effectively conclude the chapter number 31 for my clan weapons chapter of the Exploring Arsenal series, featuring me, Asian Psycho, aka Toast 98. As always, I've been your host, and in the next chapter of reviews, we'll be jumping into the weapons unlocked at Staff Sergeant. So, see you until then.